Welcome to the WIHS Journal. I'm WIHS General Manager Steve Tuzanu, and with me on the telephone is Mike Bickle. He is the founder of the International House of Prayer in Kansas City. Mike, welcome to the program.
Boy, I'm looking forward to talking to you. I've been thinking about getting a hold of you for a little while.
Okay, well, I'm glad we finally connected by way of telephone. Tell me, how did you come to faith in the Lord Jesus Christ?
Well, I'm 67 years old right now. So when I was 15, that's 52 years ago, I went to a Fellowship of Christian Athletes sports camp. And a famous football player, Roger Staubach, gave his testimony and talked about a personal relationship with Jesus. And I was 15, and quoting John Wesley, my heart was strangely warmed. And that was June 9th, 1971. And by the grace of God, I've never looked back since.
How did you come to be the founder of the International House of Prayer?
Well, I've pastored in Kansas City. This is my 40th year of being here. And I pastored a young adult church for 16 years. And then at the 16-year mark, which was 1999, which was 24 years ago, I resigned my church and started this missions organization. That's what we call it, a missionary organization. And I used the model of YWAM, the Youth with a Mission. All of your listeners may not know what YWAM is, but it's it's the largest mission organization in history. They got like 30,000 staff members. But anyway, each of their staff members raised their own support economically as a missionary. And I saw that model, and I went, I don't know. That's the only option I had. So I cast the vision. We're going to raise our own support as missionaries. And I used a strange term. I just made it up. It stuck with us, but at first I was just making it up. I call them intercessory missionaries. And so people raise their support, and so they work a 50-hour work week. I mean, it's a full-time occupation, a full-time missionary. And in that 50 hours, and that's not exact for everybody, but that's the general idea, they spend half of their time in the prayer room and the other half of their time in ministry or service, outreaches or the maintenance department or children's ministry or discipleship making. And so we have 600 full-time staff. And so we got a good workforce. You know, if you got 600 people and they got 50 hours a week, you got yourself some resource to work with. So we organized 24 years ago. Well, we had 100 the first year. And maybe for 10 or 12 years, we had 1,000 full-time staff before the COVID thing hit. Now we're down to 600. We're about half the size. But we organize into worship teams. And so we have 24-hour prayer. Each prayer meeting is led by a worship team, a live worship team. So every 2 hours, I have a worship team of about 10 people up on the stage at 2 a.m., at 4 a.m., at 6 a.m., at 2 p.m., at 4 p.m., at 6 p.m. And every 2 hours, another team of 10 comes up, and they kind of overlap on the platform for 5 minutes. So the people in the chairs is the people who pray on the microphone, the intercessors. But we do it in context of live worship, and we've got a way we interface. I won't go into that. But in the last 24 years, the worship music, the live worship music, has never even stopped 1 minute in 24 years because it always overlaps every 2 hours for about 5 minutes. So we have worship on the stage and intercession in the room, and then we go out of the prayer room and do a whole bunch of different ministries in the community and outreach and soul winning and discipleship making and all those kind of things. So that's the nutshell.
We're speaking with Mike Bickle, who is the founder of the International House of Prayer in Kansas City. Mike, you have a special time of prayer and fasting going on. What do you call it, and what's the purpose?
Yes, real quick, we call it the Isaiah 62 Global 21 Days of Prayer and Fasting for Israel. That's a big title. I'm going to say it again, Isaiah 62. And there's a reason for that, but it's a global 21 days of prayer with fasting, but prayer for Israel. And we put the call out on March 7th, 8 weeks ago. I mean, this sounds exaggerated, but you don't know me, so you don't know. I hate exaggeration. I hate hype. I just hate hype in the kingdom stuff. But we have well over 5 million Gentiles all over the earth in the last 8 weeks that have said, I'll do this 1 hour a day for 21 days. And, of course, they're doing it in 5s and 10s, 2s and 3s, 50s and 100s, 1 hour a day for 21 days. 5 million different believers had said yes to this. Probably maybe I don't have the number, so I'm making this number up. Maybe 5,000 ministries are working together on this. So I gave the call out March 7th, and it blew our mind. It went viral, and I didn't expect that. You know, the guys from Brazil called and said, we want to do it in our nation. And so I talked to 100 pastors that were over 7 million people collectively, and then they said, we're doing it. And then Mexico, 100 leaders, over 5 million people. Then Japan, then China, then Russia, then Romania, Italy, Arabic, Middle East, Egypt. I've done it in like 50 Zoom calls in the last 8 weeks, mostly done an hour or two each, talking to international guys, and they're asking questions and signing up their people. And I'm the most surprised of everyone.
Okay, I've got to ask you an obvious question, Mike, and the question is, why are you praying for Israel?
Well, see, as a Gentile believer, and I'm a real missions guy and soul winner guy, and because I've been a pastor well over 40 years, 47 years, counting IHOP, of course, the House of Prayer Time, most Gentiles don't see the connection between God's favor on Jerusalem and the fulfilling of the Great Commission. Now, I won't give a teaching, we don't have time for that, but there is a connection. Most Gentiles don't know that. When you see that connection, you go, wow, so the great end-time harvest, the great harvest that I think is going to happen, even though I see great trouble coming at the same time as the harvest, I see them both together happening simultaneously. I think it's deeply connected to what God does in Israel and in Jerusalem. And so the Gentiles are called in many passages to pray for Jerusalem and provoke Jewish people to jealousy, to have a relationship with the God of Israel like they have. And Jewish people, unbelieving Jewish people go, what? You know the God? What do you mean you know the God of Israel? So the Gentiles got the gospel from the Jews, and then later God uses the Gentiles to provoke the Jews, so they all come together. I call it God's grand family plan. So we're all one new man flowing together as a family of Jew and Gentile. So it's critical that we take our place in God's purpose to stand for Israel and the Jewish people.
What would you like our listeners to do? How would you like them to participate?
If they want to, yeah, they can do this. They can go to a website called Isaiah62.com. It's really Isaiah 62 fast, but Isaiah62.com will get you there. You click on that, and it gives the information about this 21 days. But the key to that website, because it's not an IHOP website, it's not for our personal ministry. It's really just a ministry, a directory of thousands of ministries that want people in their area to see their information, and they're saying, hey, in our area, we're doing this an hour a day. So I would encourage your people, if they've got a ministry, a house church, a Bible study, and they say, we'll do this an hour a day, go to Isaiah62.com, put your ministry information, and people in your area will find you, and then they'll come. Some will visit you, some will engage in social media with you. I don't know. Because the website is so that people find people in their area, not that we don't want them connecting to us in Kansas City. We got plenty going on here. We want them connected to the people in the area. Or if they don't have a ministry they're leading, they go click on that and they find a group in their area. Because they're all there. There's a couple thousand ministries on it. So you put in the search bar, you put your city, you get the ones closest around you. So that's what I would do, Isaiah62.com or Isaiah62fast.com more technically.
Thank you so much, Mike, for your time. We've been speaking today with Mike Bickle, who is the founder of the International House of Prayer. I'm Steve Tuzanu, and thank you for joining us on the WIHS Journal.
You've been listening to the WIHS Journal, a public affairs presentation from 104.9 WIHS. For further information about what you heard on today's broadcast, call us at 860-346-1049, 860-346-1049, or email us, office@wihsradio.org, office@wihsradio.org. I'm Paul Kretschmer. The WIHS Journal is public affairs from 104.9 WIHS.